Alright. Let's play the video games.
Never look back.
So I actually saw a Korean player start with W first on Jayce. You can just trade with people. 500 range pretty good. Ari can hit me. We'll see. I really like Jungle Nunu. He's super good.
Eyes on the horizon.
Alright,
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Time to make a stand. Our future will be bright.
screw it, let's start W, see how it goes.
Minions have spawned.
Powering up. I will light our path. Pave the way.
Alright. 73 damage is what I last hit with. Let's keep that number in mind.
Without fear. Never look back.
What I'm trying to do is basically left click on the minion I think is going to get lows first. And then when his health drops low enough, I hit it.
Powering up.
Whoops.
Eyes on the horizon.
At this point, a jungler can gank me. Level 3 minutes is when they're done with their... I could have W'd for that. And sure enough, I got a friend.
Without fear.
Alright, I need to get a ward down. That was rough. Alright, I see Lee Sin.
I will light our path.
That was harsh. That was a good charm by her.
I'm always ready. Pave the way.
Ow.
Never a wrong step.
Taking damage for free is not fun. Oh my god, stop failing minions. Do I just not... Does that just fail if I get charmed? I feel like I'm not hitting her with the Q. But Ari's missing plenty, so... Whatever. I'm gonna buy. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and clear one more. Okay, now for reals though. Maybe I should have bought more potions. I didn't. It might be a mistake. We'll see.
I'm always ready.
But I get to buy. And that's what matters to me.
Fully charged.
Yeah, Ari was waiting for me there. I went too far forward, got charmed. That was a mistake.
Without fear.
Dodged them skill shots. Yeah, so I should have bought more potions, as it turns out. Although her ability to kill me now is much lower. Since her ulti is down and all that. So I dodged all the skill shots, that was good.
Never look back.
I was really hoping I could get blue, but oh well.
Without fear.
Probably should have stayed for the rest of the mana. Oh well. Okay, wow, so she actually knew she was going to be fighting me and not Kennen. She got no MR. It's risky of her.
I'm always ready.
This is a risk of me to ward in the darkness here, but I assume I'm not going to run into Lee Sin. That was a waste, whatever. Ari knows exactly where I am, she had warded that before. So, what you should be doing when you Shock Blast, by the way, and I see most people don't do this correctly. So, Acceleration Gate is actually instant cast. It's also very forgiving on what counts as far as Shock Blast is concerned. So you actually want to Shock Blast and then Acceleration Gate on top of yourself. You get the same range, same damage, same everything. The bolt is just moving fast for more of its life. So it's harder to dodge, harder to react to. You have no reason not to do this. It also accelerates you. It gives you a lot of... There's a lot of reasons to do it. Is basically what I'm saying. I'm switching stances, because I'll gain mana in melee form. Also, it counts as a spell cast. Another way you can do it is you can acceleration get on top of yourself, and then when you have the ability to do so, you run through it, and then you shoot your opponent in the face.
Power slam. Time to make a stand.
Clear that, doesn't take much effort. She's trying to wave clear, which is fine, I don't really care. Ouch. That's actually pretty rough. That taking that charm really hurt me. Alright. I'm gonna go build towards Last Whisper now. Help my friend get back to his lane. I didn't actually buy a ward, which is maybe a mistake here. I have a good chance of getting jumped by Lee Sin. I'm really not doing anything but farming this game, but I'm out CSing Ahri, so I don't really care. I stole some of the small ones, but it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna go follow Nuna around. I almost hit Lee Sin. Good steal by Lee. I don't know what that was even for. Worth it. Took a whole bunch of damage there that I didn't really want to, but hey, whatever. At least we killed him. That was a little ham, I'm not gonna lie. That was a little ham, but hey, as long as it works.
Has been slain.
Alright, so cooldown boots are good. I run faster, that's always nice. More shock blasts, also good. I'm actually going to probably grab Muramana straight up. Which means I'm actually delaying the last whisper, but...
An ally has been slain.
They got dragon, that's not good. I'm gonna go get this turret fort then.
Has destroyed a turret.
Good dodge by her. I have no lifesteal, which is actually unfortunate. Jayce actually is very good with a Vamp Scepter and things like that.
Powering up.
Double kill.
Thanks for the... Oh, I should be warding. Shit. Yeah, she went the long way around. Smart of her. Alright, Muramana. Well, Menamune, almost Muramana. Yeah, I'll clear some more.
Horizon.
Haste my homie Blitzcrank. Yeah, she used her last ult to jump over the wall. Whatever. Nice try, Blitz. Hope he didn't flash for that. I don't think he would have. Most people don't flash for blind hooks, but I didn't watch. Alright, so this game is going okay, I guess. I'm getting myself... I'm just going to press W. It's only 40 mana. Charge that tier. It's almost there. Last Whisper. So basically, the reason I'm not getting a Bloodthirster yet is basically because... Ooh, really nice smite. Oh, couldn't reach it. Oh well. Muramana adds so much damage, as does Brutalizer, Pickaxe, and whatnot, like, that I actually do a lot of damage with just the quote-unquote base damages. Unfortunate hook miss, not a big deal. Pretty easy to clear that. Ah, I could have waited one more attack, that was bad. Oh well. Yep, still got her. She has more... Okay, yeah, she does have Seekers. Like, she has more armor than I expected. That should have done more damage. Yeah, pretty easy to wave clear this. Okay, none of her pushing does anything to me. Wolves came up. That's cool.
Time to make a stand. There, history. Never look back.
Don't think I got anything out of that. Oh well.
Ally has been
Hit them.
slain.
It's nice. It was impressive that it hit. I should have just gone for Ari. I went for Kate and didn't need to.
Slain an enemy. Shut down.
Good job, guys.
Pave the way.
Varus is wearing a fresh blue, which means Ari was wearing hers when he killed her, so their blue is not up.
Has destroyed a turret.
Alright. I'm gonna buy. And I'm gonna build towards my Bloodthirster. I could also go Black Cleaver, but meh. Get some of that life. Oh, I don't have enough for lifesteal, I'm bad.
I'm always ready.
So Form Swap does give you movement speed, so does Acceleration Gate, so I spam them a lot when I run around the map. I probably missed a couple of R transforms throughout the landing phase,
Eyes on the horizon.
but in the end, still got where I needed to be.
Pave the way.
Go for that hook, dog! Yeah, that'll work.
Power slam.
Has destroyed a turret.
Nice. Now here's another technique. Showed it in the spotlight. I'm fucking bad at this game.
Has destroyed a turret.
Never look back.
You're supposed to reveal and then jump over the wall. Oh well.
Eyes on the horizon.
Should have hasted Varus, but he should have gone the same way as me. Screw that guy. Top, closer to Baron. Just in case. And he'll get there in time. Good. I swapped too late. Oh well.
Wrong step.
Wait, they have a Cho'Gath? I actually did not know this. I like how hypercharge doesn't go on cooldown when you cast it, so you can just kind of chain it. Like you can preemptively cast a hypercharge, and then just keep casting hypercharge. It's pretty great. I like it.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Without fear.
Man, if you could hit turrets with shock blasts, Jayce would be even more stupid. That was a good charm. That was a really good charm. I should have been more aware of what my enemy team could do.
Your team has destroyed
Alright.
a turret.
Well, Nunu thankfully would kill their base if they didn't defend, so they don't get to Baron.
Down.
Yeah. Thing is, we're not ahead by much. The fact that Nunu just like soloed bottom instead of being with the team hurt us a lot. I'm just gonna sell wards. No. Yeah, I'm selling wards. Get my bloodthirster. Oh my god, Nunu's throwing more. Nunu, why? Actually, they probably won't kill him.
I'm always ready. Our future will be bright. Time to make a stand.
The enemy's inhibitor is respawners.
I will light up path. Never look back.
No. Well, neither Q, they're both AoE.
Never a wrong step.
Tanking this. I don't give a fuck. I did an acceleration gate in time. Oh well. Alright, now my goal is to not be stupid and get killed. So far, so good.
I will light our path. Eyes on the horizon.
We can still fight them. Or we can still take this, I should say.
Time to make a stand.
Nah, I put the acceleration gate on the wrong side. Oh well. Wouldn't have killed anything, but... Nunu, what are you doing?
An ally has been slain.
Oh dear. Guys, seriously, can we not throw this?
Powering up.
Alright, I'm gonna grab an Infinity Edge.
Eyes on the horizon.
Your turret has been destroyed.
Never. Pave the way.
Yeah, I should pick that up. Yeah, he doesn't need a PD, he's fine.
Without fear. Transformation complete.
Alright, well I got my max CDR. I'm gonna go kill this ward.
Down the hammer. I will light our path. Pain is my gift to you. Power slam.
Oh, dude, we can steal this.
Our future will be bright. Goodbye.
Thank you very much. I don't know why we keep sieging mid, but whatever, I guess minions will start hitting their base. Do a bunch of damage to their team. Bloodthirster's only at 10 stacks, but whatever. Yep. Force a flash, that's good. Alright.
Never a wrong step.
Oh, that charm! Oh my god, the damage! Holy crap! Dear god, thank you for blocking that.
Time to make it.
Alright, we can totally snipe that. Damn.
Powering up. Never look back.
Okay, so I'm gonna get that Infinity Edge. It's gonna be great.
Inhibitor is respawning soon.
My blue ended. I have no idea what's up with theirs.
Our future will be.
Yeah, our like mid siege doesn't do a hell of a lot.
Pave the way.
I wanna check their blue. That's true, Varus and Nunu can take Baron.
Without
trying to lifesteal back my health.
Without fear. Eyes on the horizon. I'm always ready. Never look back.
Alright, so my goal is still to be safe. One thing I actually didn't do correctly there is I'm supposed to use Hypercharge before I jump the wall, and then hit things with Hammer Form really fast and get some of the mana back. Actually, the thing is, so Hypercharge costs 40, and I get 14 back, so it basically pays for it. I mean, not really, because there's opportunity cost attacks. Like, I would hit some anyway, but... And again, I didn't use it there. Whatever, not the end of the world. Ooh, that's gonna hurt him. Looks like that got cleared. Yep. Lost flash, maybe not worth it. Oh, that's really bad. Yeah, that ended up not being worth it. We lost too much for red.
Without fear. Never look back.
Alright, I have decent health. That was pretty poorly aimed. There it is. No, you just take the Nexus turrets. She still hurts a lot. That game was just... I think it was just weird. I don't know. I don't know how I think about that game. The game was just like a perennial siege, like waiting for things to happen. I farmed a bunch. That was cool. Ari did a pretty good job as well. Was I like last pick that game or something? I feel like I was towards the bottom. Yeah, because Kennen and Blitz was first pick. Then it was like Kennen Nunu or something like that. And then I grabbed Jayce. Yeah, I was last pick that game. And I was up against, what, their first pick, Ari. And that lane wasn't all that hard. Alright, whatever. I was fourth. Okay. Yeah, I toggled Moramana pretty well that game, I think. The thing is, it costs you so much mana if you do it when you... Muramana drains you so much mana if you use it on the wrong targets. They're like, it's actually, you actually need to keep part of your brain thinking about if you have Muramana on or not. I mean, thankfully Manamune on its own is gold efficient, but like, yeah, okay. Okay, I will take some questions about that game, guys. So, this is actually something I want to be able to do more often. If you have questions about that game, right, things you saw that stood out to you, ask, and I will try to answer. How many pulls did Blitz get? I don't know. He got enough though. He didn't get a freaking ton, but why IE? That's okay. Good. Why Infinity Edge? Infinity Edge is fucking crazy on Jayce. It's fucking crazy when you have max W. Now, Jat swears that the W crits. I don't know if that's true. So, like, the way Tumble works, for example, is the same way that Headshot works, the same way that a lot of things work, is you will crit based on your total attack damage, and then the ability deals X bonus damage, also based on your total attack damage, or your bonus attack damage, depending on how it's coded. Now, some tooltips are just written to say deals X damage. For example, Riven's passive says that it deals, 10% of your total attack damage and bonus damage, right? Which you're like, oh, okay, so if I crit, I just still deal 10% of my total attack damage and bonus damage, right? The way Headshot is worded is it says it deals 1.5x damage, which is equal to 80, or whatever. But again, that 80 doesn't crit. It just put the numbers together because it says, well, in most cases you're not going to crit Headshot, so I'll tell you the damage number. And so don't rely on tooltips to like infer your crit damage. Now again, a hypercharge might crit 1.3x your total attack damage 3 times. It might not. Either way, I am getting a lot of attacks off, and at this point I have like 400 attack damage, so I'm hitting for, even if it's just 400 total AD, if I crit 1 or 2 of those, you're just dead. You're just going to die. At that point, I do so much damage, and I have so much attack speed when the W is on, I just destroy people. And so Infinity Edge is a really good way for me to scale, because, right, I'm playing Poke Jayce, right? I'm throwing Shock Blasts at people. When they come in, I'm using Muramana and hitting them with Armor Pen, and that's pretty good. I do some damage there, but, I mean, they had a big Cho'Gath, they had a pretty big Lee Sin. Those guys are kind of hard to kill. And so if I get an Infinity Edge, then I can actually hit those guys meaningfully with my auto attacks and help Varus get rid of the front line. Right? They have Taric with an Aegis, they have Frozen Heart Randuin's Cho'Gath, Sunfire Cape, Locket, Madrid's Razor Lee Sin. Like, these guys all have a lot of armor and a decent amount of health. So single target damage is important, and that is pretty much the best single target damage Jayce item in the game. That is why I bought Infinity Edge. Why Muramana on Jayce if only one ability out of 7 use it? More than one ability out of 7 uses it. And so there's 2 reasons. So one, Manamune is the best attack damage mana item. For like an AP mid, you've got like, well, I could go Chalice or Archangels or Morella Namicon maybe, or Rod of Ages, and hope it's going to work. There's really only one mana AD item, and that is Manamune. As you saw in that game, I had to spam a lot of abilities. I didn't want to waste a slot on Chalice. I wanted to do both a lot of physical damage and have a lot of mana to spare, which is what that did. Now, Muramana has a couple of special interactions with Jayce, though. One is that his melee form E applies it, which is pretty minor, but it's some extra burst. But every basic attack applies it, and when you hypercharge, all 3 basic attacks apply it. And so you actually, if someone gets in your face, you hypercharge them, you're applying 3 Muramana procs as well as your total attack damage, which is 200 to 300, depending on where you are in the game. Or, based on the multiply, right? So at the very beginning, when it's only rank 1, you do 2.1 times total attack damage. When it's the very last rank, you're doing 3.9 times total attack damage, plus the Muramana proc each time. And that's actually a lot. Even if it weren't for the Muramana, you'd probably still build Manamune on Jayce, but it's really good in the end because it works really well with Hypercharge. Does IE stack with Muramana? It does not. That is a different modifier. I mean, you will hit someone in crit and then apply some Muramana damage. They'll both apply, but you do not crit Muramana. Is Triforce good on Jayce? It's not bad. I think it would actually be a really good item if you were like trying to play melee Jayce, just because you hit so many buttons, you would constantly re-trigger Trinity Force. However, it does not synergize with Hypercharge or with Shock Blast very well. It synergizes with Hypercharge in that you'll get more Phage procs, but like it doesn't work with the build that I was going for, which is Poke Jayce. But I could see it being useful because you will apply it often. One defensive item. I didn't ultimately feel like I needed a defensive item. The thing with their team is they don't have very good dive, right? If they had like Nocturne Shen or I'm trying to think of like other really, really good divers, like a Nautilus, maybe even a Sejuani, things like that, who are going to get to the back line and make you really sad. I have to be a lot more defensive. I need to be more afraid. But the only way I die in this team comp is if like I fuck up and hit and Cho'Gath like gets a rupture on me, or I get way too close to Arya and I get charmed. Otherwise, there's almost no way I get killed. And you saw I had 2 deaths that game. One was the 15-minute first blood where I tower dove bottom, and the other was in a team fight where I got charmed and evaporated. I never died otherwise. And because it was a pretty slow-paced game, my flash was usually up, so if something happened, I could flash away. I have a lot of acceleration gates. I can fight from 1,000 range because I'm just shock blasting them. When the fight starts, they use their initiations. Cannon pops Slicing Maelstrom. Varus pops his ultimate. I'm no longer in danger. I can go into 500 range and use Hypercharge. So I was never actually in danger that game. And the cool thing about that, the cool thing about the way items work and that you have to buy them over time, is you actually get to play a couple of team fights before you have to make a decision if you want to buy a defensive item or not. So you get to fight and be like, oh, I'm not getting caught. I'll just keep buying damage. I'm still not getting caught. I'll just keep buying damage. Whereas if it was a different team, whether you're good at analyzing champ select or not, right, Shen, Nocturne, Sejuani, Nautilus, whatever, even if you couldn't analyze that, you'd be like, man, I'm getting killed a lot in team fights. I should buy a Guardian Angel. And so it helps you kind of figure that out. Bloodthirster and Blade of the Ruined King is the question. Bloodthirster or Blade of the Ruined King? It really depends on who your champion is and what you're trying to accomplish. Blade of the Ruined King is really good at self-kiting. If there is one guy trying to wreck you, like there is a big Aurelia or like a big Renekton, Blade of the Ruined King is really important because you want to use the active to push your opponent away and then keep kiting backwards and trying to survive. Also, you'll be hitting the Bruiser by yourself a little bit, and so he'll be healthier for more of that fight, and you'll get more out of the Blade of the Ruined King active as well. And that works, any sort of dive comp, you tend to want Ruined King for the extra kite. Bloodthirster, though, makes a lot more sense if you're trying to be bursty. Because basically, if you are Graves, for example, Bloodthirster is great because it stacks on all of your abilities, and it's just wonderful to have that. And that's what I've tended to see as the rationale behind things, is that you get to kite more if you play Blade of the Ruined King. Your damage tends to be a little bit higher, I think, with Bloodthirster just in general, but it's still pretty strong. Someone asked what was your skill order and why. So you always, at least with this sort of build, you will max Q first on Jayce. To the Skies is really strong, Shock Blast is really strong, it scales super well. You want to max Q. Maxing E second gives you lower cooldown and more speed on Acceleration Gate. Also gives you more burst on the E. So basically you have more Shock Blast Gate combos. And then if someone gets low enough, your QE melee form burst is also much higher, and so you get to chunk people. Now, leveling up W versus leveling up R is really up to you, I suppose. R gives you more armor and MR in melee form. Gives you more armor shred or armor MR shred when you switch to ranged form, and it gives you more of that little burst when you switch to melee. Now, for what it's worth, that's actually a lot of burst, and if again you're trying to chunk someone for health and just like blow someone up, maxing R second or R third makes a lot of sense. You'll do a lot more burst damage there. And also, and this is actually especially true if you're playing melee form Jayce, you want to max R because it's more armor and magic resistance. That's really important as well. So that's all very, very useful. Now, I was maxing W this game third because I was scaling pretty well. I got more mana. I was going to get towards Bloodthirster. And I get a lower cooldown as well as a higher attack damage ratio on Hypercharge when I rank up W. It goes from 0.7 to 1.3, which means that across 3 attacks, I go from a 2.1 ratio to a 3.9 ratio. It deals almost double damage. So I can either double my damage over the course of Hypercharge, which is probably going from maybe 500 damage to 900, because Muramana is not going to apply either way. Right, so I can go from 500 to 900 damage when I press W, or I can do like another 120 when I press R. It's not nearly as good. And of course it does, depend on your ratios and whatnot, but again, that's something to keep in mind. Elder Lizard on Jayce would be pretty good. It's 10 CDR, it's a bunch of attack damage. Shock Blast would apply the Lizard debuff for the extra true damage. It would actually be pretty strong. The only reason it's really not gotten is because, I would say, because you want to rush everything else so much more quickly. It's weird because I look at Blue Ezreal and I'm like, well, he gets Muramana and whatnot, and he still gets there. And to me, I think it's because he does other things that don't necessarily need Last Whisper right away. He has things that scale off AD and CDR. Right, so compare Lizard Elder versus Brutalizer, right? That's kind of the analogous item there. So Brutalizer costs 600 less, gives you a little bit less attack damage, but gives you armor pen. And Jayce is doing almost all physical damage, whereas Ezreal, he'll use his attack damage ratio for his ultimate, and things like that. And honestly, I might just not even know. I don't really know why you pick one or the other. I just really like stacking all the armor pen, and it works really well for me. But Lizard Elder would work pretty well. It gives him some mana regen, which helps you spam more. It would be pretty good. But I don't really want to replace any of my other items, though. I would not take scaling. So someone asked, would scaling AD runes on Zed, comboed with his W, be worth sacrificing a weak early game by not having flat? I think no. In fact, I think you should be using just armor pen reds anyway, and then using attack damage quints. To me, that's just the better build. And so it's just better IMO to do it that way. I don't even remember what question I was answering. I just ended my sentence. Phreak, do you know how Hydra works with on-hit effects items? Does it stack with Sheen or anything like that? No. So, the way Tiamat and Revenant's Hydra work is exactly this, and they do nothing else. They deal a percentage of your total attack damage. I don't care what items you have. I don't care what's going on in the world. There's a percentage of your total attack damage. Period. That's how they work. I don't believe Hydra procs with Elise's spiders. I don't believe spiders proc on hit effects, so I don't think they would do that. Would I buy a Black Cleaver for Jayce? Yes, it's very, very good. I wanted, ultimately, it probably would have been better that I bought that instead of the Infinity Edge, because I could have applied Black Cleaver to Cho'Gath and Lee Sin pretty easily with Hypercharge, and that would have helped Varus to kill, as well as me, would have helped them to kill off Cho'Gath and Lee Sin. 25% of their armor gone is pretty important. In retrospect, I should have done that, and then gone towards Infinity Edge. How can I defend against assassins when I am playing as Jayce? So, again, depending on the enemy team, you want to change your build up a little bit. For example, getting a Hex Drinker against an Elise, or if there's just more magic damage assassination there, Hex Drinker can be very, very good. you might have to get a Guardian Angel at some point. If it's someone like Zed, maybe you sit in a chain vest or something. But also, what's really, really important, this is another one actually, is form swapping to your ultimate gives armor and magic resist. And if you're under a lot of pressure, taking damage, form swapping to melee will grant you, I believe it's up to 35 armor MR, which is pretty decent. And you form swap to melee, and then you knock them back with E, and then you try to run. Now, the funny thing is, champions like Zed don't care about Zed's E, or about Jayce's E, because they'll ult you, you'll knock him back, they'll press R, jump to their clone, and then they're still fine. And that can be very, very difficult. When you play Jayce against Zed, you need to wait until you run past his clone, then knock him back, and then keep running. Otherwise, you actually have wasted your knockback for nothing. That's a hard thing to remember. Zed still does a lot of damage, but again, it's something you need to think about. How do Hydra and Hurricane work with hybrid melee ranged champions like Nidalee, Jayce, and Kayle? You are either melee or ranged at a certain time. If you are melee, Tiamat and Hydra work. If you are ranged, Hurricane will work. You will never have both work at the same time on any champion. If you form swap, you will work with one or work with the other. Which means that, depending on how Hypercharge works, Hurricane might be exceptional on Jayce. If you have 25% crit damage from runes and Infinity Edge, yes, it means you'll have 275% damage crits. They do not multiply, they add. So you'll get the extra 0.5 and the extra 0.25, etc. Muramana doesn't work in any special way with Ravenous Hydra. Again, Ravenous Hydra and Tiamat apply your total attack damage and nothing else. No procs, no nothing. It applies your total attack damage. I actually don't like Tear of the Goddess Ashe in normal. I think you're giving up too much to go for it. AD carries tend to have a very, very tight power curve, where they basically need to get their items in sequence. They need to get their big ticket main damage item, which is Ruin King, Bloodthirster, or Infinity Edge. They need to get their big multiplier, which is Infinity Edge if it was Ruin King, Phantom Rancer, or Static Shiv. Then they need to get Last Whisper, and they need to get those items out as fast as possible to keep up with health and armor scaling. Now, champions like Jayce don't scale off of crit, so their scaling is much more linear. So you actually get to, because you're not like trying to get that crit chance out in time to multiply everything else, you're just like trying to scale, and Muramana is a big part of that scaling. And ultimately, I don't think it's worth doing otherwise. How do you know when to go kill wraiths or wolves when you are mid? Basically, when you are mid, you do ultimately three things. I should say four. So one is a two-parter, and that is play in your lane. And that is kill your minions or fight your opponent. React to ganks, react to counter ganks, whatnot, but number one thing you do is play in the lane. When there is nothing to do in the lane, minions are dead, your opponent leaves, whatever, then you decide, well, where am I going to go now? Because if you sit there in your lane by your turret and just go, nothing's going on, guys, you're not doing anything, and that's bad. So when there's nothing going on in your lane, look to the sides, be like, is top gankable? Is bottom gankable? Is something happening in the jungle? In fact, while you're farming, holy shit, something's going on in the jungle, run over there and help your team out. But if there's nothing there, then, well, I'll just go back to my farming or whatever. But again, when the wave is cleared then, okay, is there something going on? No. Can I help push or something? Or invade or something? No. Fuck it, I'll take wolves. And that's kind of how it works. Now, some champions, and it's a sliding scale too, right? If you're Twisted Fate and your ultimate is up, can you actually help top or bottom? Like, then go for it? Okay, right? Are you Karthus? You're not going to roam. You might say, guys, my ulti's up. Start a fight if you want. But you're not going to roam as Karthus. You're going to ult people. And so, right, for someone like Zed or Diana who can force engages better, they're going to see top and bottom lane, and they're going to be more enticing. But you know what? Yeah, I can gank that. And they'll go. Karthus is going to be like, no, I can't gank that. And he'll do wraiths. The same exact spot on the map, the same positions and everything. Different champions will have different resolutions. They'll be like, Karthus will say, no, I can't do anything. Jayce will say, yeah, I can. Whatever, right? And if you don't have anything to gank, you go do something else. I'm actually... Okay, I'm going to play one more, but then I think I'm going to go to bed. It's getting late, and I'm trying to go to bed slightly earlier every day. Because my sleeping schedule is still China time. Because it's basically right now it's 8:20 p.m. in China. So if you have multiple Sheen built items such as Iceborne Gauntlet, Sheen, Trinity Force, things like that, it will give you the best. I just turned to Snoopy randomly. It will give you the best of all worlds. So Iceborne Gauntlet's slow field and AoE damage will always apply no matter what other effects you have. For the target you hit, it will say which does more damage, Iceborne Gauntlet, Lichbane, Trinity Force, Sheen, whatever, and choose the best single target damage for that person. It's unlikely you'll ever have Iceborne Gauntlet and Lichbane in the same champion, but if you happen to do that, you will always get the Iceborne Gauntlet AoE, and then you can do the rest. I don't think AD Fizz would work. He doesn't have... Like, there's no reason to build attack damage on Fizz. You have AP ratios. There's like, no reason to do it. You could build tanky Fizz and rely on your W a whole bunch, but, like, you don't even have AD skilling. I don't know why you'd do it.